Welcome to Bullis Student Tutors. Today we will be going over variables in Java, specifically for the AP course, Computer Science A. So when you work with variables in math, you know that you can set a variable, or by saying the variable equals, let's say 4. So you can see over here I have x equals 4. So then if I were to use it somewhere in math, you could say 3x, which would be 12. Or if I could use y here, and 3 times 3, which would be 9. These usually, and there are one character, letters that you can assign to. Maybe you do a subscript or something like that. But this is just like naming a number or expression to a variable. If we look at this in another way, as we're putting 4 inside x in like a box, if we do that, we can think of variables in a different way, more related to computer science. Variables in computer science store information with a name, just like they do in math. If you can see, this x refers to this box which includes information of 4. So this big box called A will have the value of 12. So in Java, we have this exact same thing where we can have A, which has 3, and then refers to x, which is 4. However, there's one big key missing detail that Java requires. Java is what's known as a typed language. What this means is that you must tell what each variable is. So what type of variable is it? That is really important for Java in order to make anything work. So in this case, it's called int, or int for short, because, which I will explain later, this is one type of variable type, and there's a whole list of them, but integer is the one for 4 and 3, or a number. So there are two big categories, primitive and non-primitive. Primitive types are specific information about one type of value. They don't have any methods or anything with them, and they're predefined within Java. And the big key to recognize them is they always start with a lowercase letter. Non-primitive, however, refer to objects that include more information or methods. They are built on primitive methods, primitive types, and they're not necessarily included within core Java. You usually can import them or create your own, and you can recognize them by starting with an uppercase letter. Now in Computer Science A, the AP class, these are the main types other than character, or char, as it's listed here: int, double, boolean, string, arrays, and classes. As you can see, int, double, boolean, char are all lowercase, and string, arrays, classes are all uppercase. This is because of the rule I said before. I have included char here because I think it's important in order to explain one of these, string. In order to explain string, char is important, but it is not actually tested on the test. So, int, what is an int? An int is short for integer. This is how I remember that it's for whole numbers, 3, 8, -2. It has a maximum of about 2.1 billion and a minimum of about -2.1 billion. If you have a whole number, just use int. However, if you want to have rational numbers, other than repeating decimals, it's just a regular decimal like 3.0, 8.12, including negative numbers. If you need decimals, you need a double. It's as simple as that. You can't store non-decimal information in int, it'll just not exist. Booleans, they store two values, true or false. You can think of that as like 1 or 0. They're used for conditional or logical statements. So if I were to ask, is the earth flat? Boolean would be a good response, false. And then the special one, char, or character, stores a single character of information. It just stores A, B, C, D, or like 1, 2, 3, and it's surrounded by single quotes. This is important because of our first non-primitive type, string. String stores multiple characters in a sequence. So multiple of those char types basically is hidden within it. But this is used for general text, and this is really important for the test. Substring length equals, these are all highly important, and they are all on the reference data sheet that comes with the AP test. You must put double quotes around them, or else it'll confuse Java and not be taken properly. An array stores multiple variables, multiple primitive types, or multiple non-primitive types, but the same type. Each item is stored, as you can see here, Like if I have an array of integers or ints, 1, 2, 3, 9. Each index is started from 0 in Java, so I would refer to this as the 0th index, the first index, second index, and third index. And you can do it with anything, so you can have string, array of strings, and you might notice that string is actually just an array of character under the hood. So that's important to know. And classes, which are the most complicated type, they are the overarching blueprint for objects. And they can include custom methods you make, attributes, and there's countless examples of them. String is a class made by Java, which is coded as a class. So if you code a class for dogs, you might include a method of pet, the attribute of a name, and you can create a new object in instantiation. So how do we use these types in code? Which this process is called instantiation, as I mentioned before. For the most generic type, you just do the type, name of the variable, and then the value. So for integer, in this box diagram I have here, I would do int, then x equals 4. For string, remember you need those quotes. So string, whatever you want to call it, a really cool message. And Boolean, of course, you only have true or false, and it's lowercase true and lowercase false. Now the kind of exception is of just general classes. If I were to make a dog class with this code over here, I wouldn't just put my name or the dog. I have to say new, keyword new, dog, and then put the information. So I made a string variable here, instantiated string variable here, and I pass it through to the dog class, which I created, and I can now use this my dog however I would like say my dog, and then .name, and I can understand the name of the dog. This refers to the constructor, which is not what I'm going to go over here, but this form is used by many classes in Java with a new keyword. So to review what we went over, variables in Java are just like variables in math, except they have types. Types are split into the categories, primitive and non-primitive. We talk about int, Boolean, doubles, string, arrays, classes. Remember, character we don't really need to talk about for the AP test. And here are some basic things about them. You can read that if you'd like. But the most things when you're using them are type, name, and then value. And that's the format you'd use to instantiate and create any variable you need. Thank you for watching BST. Have a nice day. I'm Ryan Tanholtz.